Hi friends, today we are going to see demo on Liquibase, a database change management tool. Recently I had also demoed the Schema Change, a Python-based lightweight database change management tool. But this tool is different. It is based on Java and this is more advanced and rich in feature. It supports lots of database and change type can be also written in multiple language like SQL, JSON, XML, YAML. I had written a blog on same. Please have a look for more details. Let's start with the demo. So currently I'm logged in into my Snowflake account. Before we start with anything, let me tell you from where you can download the Liquibase. So you have to go into the liquibase.org.download. There is a community version as well as there is also advanced and enterprise edition. But we are good for community version for this demo. So there are a couple of system requirements which needs to be met because this is full-fledged software. You need to have a Java 8 as a mandatory to install the software and work with the software. And there are other minor requirements. You can go through this system requirement and just when you click on download, it will download the folder and then you can click on the setup and install the Liquibase. So I already had done this, so I'm not going to do that. So let's start with the Snowflake. So basically, Liquibase is not supporting Snowflake out of the box, but our community has created an extension and you have to do some of the steps to start working with Snowflake. But it's very easy. You just need to download 2 jar files and you have to download the JDBC driver from here. So you have to go in the download, go into JDBC driver and then go and go on Maven repository and you can download the JDBC driver from here. And you have to download 2 jar file from the link which I already provided on my blog, and those 2 jar file needs to be put on the lib folder in Liquibase. And then you have to set up some paths on your environment variable and then you are ready to go. But all those details are mentioned on my blog, so you can go there and see all the details how to do that. So okay, so let's start. Like change schema change, this Liquibase also need at least one schema needs to be created. So I had created one schema where means like I will deploy all my objects. This schema name will be part of the setup. So basically I have already provided this as part of my connection. So I will create a new schema so that I can create all the objects inside this. So you can see I have just created a schema, and if I refresh, I'm not sure it is created or not. Okay. Okay. Under DemoDB, you can see there is a schema called Liquibase. As of now, there is nothing inside this. Okay, let's start. So basically, how Liquibase work? Basically, Liquibase create two you can say two important table whenever it start deploying. So first table is database change log, which is basically a history table. So basically all the deployment are recorded or tracked under this database change log. Another table is database change log lock. Basically this table are being used to log the deployment when there is single deployment happening on a particular database. So it is useful when multiple people try to deploy at the same time. To resolve the conflict, they lock the database. Unless the first is done, the second one will not get a chance to deploy anything. So this is done automatically. So once the deployment is completed, automatically unlock the database for the available, and it will again available for other to start using. So let's start. So first of all, when you install the Liquibase, there is a property file which get created, liquibase.properties. All the parameters like username, password, driver name, URL and everything you can store inside this property file, which are not going to change. Obviously for password and all, this is not the safest thing, but for the demo it is okay. So Liquibase come up with in-memory Java database known as S2. If you don't want to use any other database, and if you want to do only the demo purpose or for the practice purpose, you can double click on this. If you go on Liquibase, sorry, on the Liquibase, if you click on start S2, it will start the in-memory database. So here you can create and insert, and you can do everything whatever you want to do like in any other normal database. The only difference is the moment you will close this database, everything will be gone because it's an in-memory database. So nothing is going to be stored consistently. So I'm not going to use H2 database because I'm going to demo you on Snowflake. So I'm closing this. So what I am going to do is, like, I have already provided all the detail on the liquibase.properties file. So I have provided the URL command, I have provided the username, I have provided the password and everything as a setup in Liquibase. Once all these details are provided, I'm good to go. So how I can see whether I'm able to connect to the database or not. So the first thing I can do here is I can go and check the status. To check the status, at least I need to provide the first changelog file name, and I have provided a default changelog file name. So even if I don't pass that as a command line parameter, it is going to take it from here, and it will give me whether the change set mentioned inside this file is already being deployed or not. So for this demo purpose, I'm going to use these three file, which is basically my change set, or you can say the script, database script, or the DDL or DML command script, which I am going to use for the demo. So let me show you. This one is the on the SQL format. So basically, if you have to write the code in the SQL format, you have to use the Liquibase format.sql. This will be the first line, and then change set, and then change set name and change set ID, and then you can start provide your SQL statement or the GTL statement. So basically, in this change set, I'm going to insert, I'm going to create two change, this change log, I'm going to create two change set. First change set will create this table, and the second change set will create this table, and the third change set is going to alter the first table. So basically, in this change log file, I have three different work to do, or three different change set to apply. And another example is on the XML file. So basically, I wanted to show you both the version of SQL and XML. Basically, this part is you can say like this part is common for every change XML file, and then this XML file has two change set. First change set is create table, which is basically test XML table, and the second change set is basically I'm creating another table. So in this changelog file, I have only two changes which needs to be applied on database, and then there is a third XML file where I'm just creating another table, which is department. So I'm only taking example of creation of the table and alteration of the table. I'm not loading anything as of now for this demo, but we are good. If we can do this, we can do anything. So let's start. Let's check for the Liquibase status first. Okay. All right. So it's taking time. Okay. So it says like for this default XML file, as I said, there was three change set, and it has not been applied because I have not applied anything. I just started with my demo. So this file contains three change set, as I have shown you, 1, 2, 3, but either of them has not been applied yet. So basically, all the three changes are still pending, and I'm connecting with my user ID to this my Snowflake account, and this statement status command has been executed successfully. So now I know that I'm able to connect to Snowflake, and I'm able to check that this three change set has not been applied, and it is working fine. So all the setup is done. Now say if I wanted to check uh, for a particular changelog file, right? So right now I have shown you whatever is there on the text format, like it in the text editor, but you don't want to go on the text editor and see the file for whatever reason. You want to see what is the SQL statement you are going to apply for a particular changelog file. So you can go here and use the update SQL statement. So when you go and let me clear the screen. If you pass this statement will show you what all change set are present in the XML file in the SQL version. So let me click enter and you will see that it will print all the SQL statement which is going to uh, being applied on the database, because this is the first time I am assuming. Okay, so this is going to create the changelog log table also, and it also going to create the changelog log database change log. So these two tables are the tracking table and the locking table, which is going to create, and it will start put the lock on the database before starting the change log. And as you can see, this is the first change set creating the Liquibase department table. So basically this was the only change set present on this file. So the name of the file was mychangelog.xml, and if you go here, mychangelog.xml has only one change log, that is department, which was in XML format. But if you go here, you will see that it was presented on a .sql format. So basically you can see what is inside your change log before you apply. And once you are confident, okay, you want to apply this, you can go and apply with XML, and you have to just remove the SQL part from here and it will just apply on the database. So I'm not going to start with this. Let's start slowly one by one. All right, so basically we have seen how to see the SQL statement or whatever change set or changes you are going to apply before apply anything. So now I wanted to see for the other file before I apply. So in this XML file, I will have multiple change set. So you can see that there is one change set called this table, and there is another change set which is called test XML table, right? Another is XML changelog table. So there are two changes on this XML file or the changelog file, but there might be a case that I only want to apply only one of the change set. So basically you can do that by using this update count one. So it will look for the first change set and apply that only. So let me go and quickly show you the table as of now. So there is no table because I have not applied any change set. Let me apply this first update count, and it will create two tables, database change log and database change log lock, and it will also apply the first change set out of these two. So basically it will go and apply the first change set. It will create the text XML table. So now after applying this, we will see three tables. All right, I think I have not copied properly. Okay, it is getting connected, and it's going to apply quickly. So meanwhile it is applying, let me refresh this. So you can see two table has been created, the history table and the text XML table. Now if I go and query this database change log, you will see that the first change set has been applied for this table. See, this is the XML file which we have passed, and the first change set ID has been applied. So now if I go again and apply for the another round, it will apply the second record, second change set, and it will insert the record here. And since we already have these two history table created, it will skip those two table creation. So here is another table got created, and here is the change set ID 2. So now you know how it's going to work. Say if I want to apply all the change set ID, I don't want to go with 1, 2, 3 counters. I can simply say Liquibase changelog file name and just update, and it will go and update everything, because we have already did for the XML file, I want to take the another SQL file version and wanted to apply all the change set. So before I go to the SQL file, let me show you what is there. For this SQL file, we have two table and one alter statement. So let's see. It will just create all the three table and then it will update that it is done successfully. So let's see by refreshing. Yes, we can see that person SQL change log has been created and the company SQL change log has been created. So let me go and look in the table. You can see three more change that has been applied for this particular file name, SQL file name, right? 1, 2, 3, and third one is the alter statement. So now we have seen how to apply all the change set, how to apply particular change set in a sequence. Now if say we already had a table or we already had some table or objects created on a database and I want to extract the DDL statement, right? So I want to extract all the DDL structure of particular database and keep that as a backup and want to apply that into some different schema or database, right? So that basically in terms I can say like I want to take the DDL extract out of a particular database and want to use for any other purpose, like I can use that for deployment of another database, want to create another environment, anything can be done. So basically this can be done easily and you can take the extract of that by using the generate change log, and you can also extract in 4 different language. So you can extract on YAML, you can extract on JSON, you can extract on XML, and you can extract on SQL as well. While only difference between these three and SQL format is I have to provide the database name so that it will generate based on the SQL standard of that particular database. And in case of XML, JSON, and YAML, these are platform independent, so it doesn't need a database name. So basically it will go and just extract the in their standard language, and it will be it can easily be deployed in any database. So I can show you the example and then I can show you how it looks like. So let me clear the screen. So I'm just quickly going and executing everything. So it will go and it will extract and create the file on my local working directory. So basically this is the Liquibase example XML. So you can see that the database change log has been created. So if I go here on the example on the XML, you will see this YAML file has been created. If I open this, you can see the extract was of the same table with all the details in the YAML format. So you can see these tables are getting created. So I have just created this table, all these are getting created by me, and you can see these are the extract of the database. Similarly, if I use the same thing for other language, you can see it will get created on the JSON. So I will just create everything. So I will just create another XML one and then I will stop because you already know how it looks like in SQL. So basically you can see the JSON has been created. If I refresh again, the XML will also get created. Yes, now SQL is also get created. So you can see how it looks like. So this is an XML output and this is an JSON output for all the change set applied on the database. So now you know how to export the current data DDL objects from the any database which is supported by Liquibase. This is basically if you want to take the snapshot of the current state of database, you can do that, and that is also being supported in YAML and the JSON format. So basically the format is the same. You need to provide the output file name in which you want to take the snapshot, and this YAML file will have the export in the YAML format. So you have to just pass the output file name and the keyword snapshot and then the format of the snapshot. So basically it will just create another file, the snapshot. So if I go here in refresh it will show that it will create the file. So you can go here and see. So this is a snapshot of uh, at the creation time of the snapshot and all the details. And if you want to restore this snapshot, you can restore this snapshot easily into the database. So basically you can do the snapshot of particular data object type, or if you don't pass any object type, it will export everything. So you can do this in two different format as I showed you in YAML and in JSON. So I'm not going to do a showcase on the JSON part, but you can easily do that with the JSON. It's the same. Now say, all right. So let me show you in one example, and then you will be able to understand this. So basically, I wanted to first see what is the SQL statement which is going to apply on this changelog file. So you will see there is one table called department which is going to be applied on this change set. I think yes, department is the table, right? Yes. So what I will do, I will copy the detail statement just to showcase you the demo. What I'm going to do is like say if somebody has created the table in the database. So basically the purpose of showing this is basically when you have two different database or two different schema, and some of the table which are applied manually, and those are also part of some other changelog file. So the moment if you already had a data table in the database, and if you apply that same changelog with having the same name, it will fail because the table already exists, right? So say if I already had this table, right, I will create this table. So you can see table department created. If I refresh here, you will see the department table already created. It is blank, but table already exists. Now suppose if I go ahead and say, okay, I want to apply this change set, right? So if I say like I will go ahead and apply this change set, what will happen? It will fail, right? Because it will start complaining that table already exists, but we have not applied the change set, but somebody has created this table manually, right? This is very common scenario which may happen in any database, or for any other reason this table or some of the objects are already existing in a database, but uh, you means like it's out of track or out of sync. Basically I would say that it is out of sync with the changelog file. So now what you can do is like you already know that this table exists along with this changelog file, so it should get applied based on this, but now already table is created, so you can't apply this changelog. But to sync the changelog, what you can do is like you can check first, this is the helper command changelog as sync SQL. This will just give you the, let me clear the screen. Yeah, this will give you the SQL statement which is going to apply. What it will do, it will check what is the SQL statement which is going to apply based on this XML file, and if that table already exists, what it will do, it will just insert the statement in the database changelog as if it is being applied on the database via this changelog. So it will just resolve the issue, it will sync the database changelog so that your database structure and the database changelog are on sync. Right now your entry in the database changelog doesn't exist, but the table exists on the database, and if this changelog is applied, this will start failing. So now if I apply this, so if I just remove the SQL part, and it is now the actual statement, and it will just insert the statement, and now you will see that earlier there was no entry for the department table, but now you will see that there is an entry of the department table over here. Changelog.sf. See, liquid changelog sync was executed. Now you have an entry for the department table over here. Go here. Sorry, you have to refresh. Okay. Department table. So this is a sixth entry. So now you know how to sync your changelog if the table has been created but the entry is not there on the database changelog table. We have seen all these. All right. Now comes like if you want to because if you have seen here, like the logs are very limited, right? but there might be a case when you want to see the detailed logging. So in the scenario where you want to log all the details and you want to see more details, so you can set the log label -- log label to anything. So log label contain different versions. So if you go here, don't recall, yeah. So basically the log label have a valid value, list of valid value, basically that contains off, so no logging will happen. Error, all the error will be printed. Warning, info, debug will print everything, all the debug label statement, and then trace and all. So these are different logging label which you can apply. So you can either put that on the liquibase.property file for every statement, and you can also set at the command line for one of the statement which you are interested to see the log. So say if I apply this one, sorry, it is not copied. So let me apply this one, and it will start give me all the detailed logging. So you can see that it will start printing all the statement and the detailed label. So all the info statement, you can see here, all the info has been populated because I have already applied this. So it is saying that reading from Liquibase and successfully release changelog log. So basically all the set are already applied, so nothing has been updated. So all the info is available over here. Now say I already applied something and I identified that whatever I had applied is not correct. I want to roll back. So you can roll back in multiple ways. I'm going to show you two ways. One is by the count, like you can revert on the same sequence in which you have applied. So it will start from the last. So the latest change will get reverted if you say roll back count 1, or you can point any number of count you want to apply. So basically I am going with 1. So it will going to revert this change set row number 6. So let me apply this, and it will remove the entry from the last. So rolling back change set, change log, SF, XML2, Snowflake executed. So if I go again and query this table, it will remove one row from here. So if we go here, all right, so you can't see the 6th line over here. So that is no more here, and it has been rolled back. Okay, so now I don't have any last 6th number change set. Now the same request can come that I don't want to go by count because I have applied lot of things, but you can also roll back by the date. So basically today is 15th, right? So I want to roll back everything from the today's date, whatever has been applied on this XML file. So what I will do, just go and update this one, and all the change set has been applied part of this changelog file for today's date. We'll go and roll back. So let's see what it's going to do. So it has been executed and one change set was pending and it has got rolled back. So now you will see that one statement has been reduced from this changelog history table. So if I go here and query, you will see that now we have 4 rows rather than 5, sorry. So one was already reported by rollback count. Now say if you want to see what is the history of your changelog deployed on this particular environment, like you want to see what all change set you have applied and you want to look for the history, right? So you can like Liquibase history, just say enter, and it will print all the change set which is applied to this database till date. So you can see that we have applied on this database. So this is my Snowflake account and we are using JDBC driver to connect to Snowflake, and these are the 3 change set which we applied first, and then this is one single change set which we applied second, and then the third one which we applied has been reverted by the rollback statement. So all the change set which we have applied has been already looked. Yeah, and the last one, the demo which I want to showcase is like there might be a case that in some scenario we have written some bug code, like there is some bug on the code which has not been identified because of certain reason, but while deploying it failed for same reason, right? So if it fail in between, so as you know that the moment Liquibase start deployment, it will go and put a lock on this table, which restrict other user to start doing the deployment, and it get unlocked, or it will remove the lock from this table once the deployment is completed successfully. So what will happen in case it will fail halfway? The lock will still remain on the table, and as you know that the change has been failed, but this Liquibase is not going to remove the lock from this table. Uh, so you have to remove the lock from your end if you fall under this scenario. So you can use either Liquibase changelog file name which failed and then release lock, or you can so basically when you run this, it will execute behind the scene this statement. So it will go and update the changelog lock table, and this table only contain always one entry, one row, and it will get updated with the lock equal to 0, and then you are good enough to deploy any other change set. So basically if I show you this one, so as of now we don't have any lock, but this statement will say that it's successful. All right, it's not been copied. Let me go here. Why I'm not able to copy this? Okay, so if I go here and execute this, it will show that. So Liquibase command release lock was executed successfully. So if there was any lock, it has been removed. So these are few of the statement or the few of the demo which I showcased you, but there are a lot more syntax and more case specific syntax. So I'm not able to showcase each and every statement, but I have highlighted or showcased you few of the important or the regular statement which we are going to use on daily basis. But you can go into the documentation part. There are a lot more statement. As I said, Liquibase is a full-fledged tool, database change management system, and it is not like the schema change, which is Python based and very small, lightweight, which is only for Snowflake. But this tool is for lot more database. I can say like almost every database is being supported in either uh, through natively or through extension of the community. So you will find the jar and then you can support any database. So thank you.